Callum Spence said, happy Klopp isn't going to Germany, but wish he could stay forever. Very worried for the future when he does go. I'm a bit of an ostrich on that one, dude. I'm defo burying my head in the sand and not really thinking about Liverpool post Jurgen Klopp just yet. I do keep thinking to myself, though, this could have been the last season, right? If Kloppo hadn't signed that extension, there's a good chance this was going to be Kloppo's last season. So the fact that we know we've got this season and 2 more, and also his agent has come out and said that he's not taking the German job. He's contracted to Liverpool. He's very happy here. So, yeah, good news in that regard, because I was a bit worried that maybe they would try and get him one of these co-coaching roles. And that's something that I don't think Klopp would do anyway, but I didn't want to happen. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data, such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month, and you'll get an additional 3 months free. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. But yes, Grey Klopp isn't going to Germany. Probably looking to get Nagelsmann in from what I've read, but look, I don't really care who the German national team coach is as long as it isn't Jurgen or Klopp. I think Klopp loves this team. You can just see it's a liver lad. Yeah, I think he sees what I hope we all see, which is a very, very, very promising, young, hungry team. I'm excited, liver lad. I'm really, really excited about what we can do this season. And I know I'm getting carried away talking about title races, but title race, because that's where I'm at. I think we're in a title race. I absolutely love Klopp and everything he's done, but no single man will ever be bigger than our club. It'll be hard to see him go, but the Reds march on. It'd be really hard to see him go, King Kenny. You're right, nobody's bigger than the club, mate. Nobody ever will be. Your namesake came pretty close to it, though, let's be honest. I mean, he is Liverpool, Mr. Dalglish. I just don't want to think about it yet. I'm too selfish. I don't want to bury my head in the sand. I just don't want to think about life without Jurgen yet. And also when people say, like, who would you want as the next manager and all, it's a long time, 3 seasons. A lot can happen. Managers can come into form, out of form. Football can change. The style of football that, you know, teams play now may not be the style of football that the Premier League sees in 3 years' time. So it's a really difficult one to gauge at this point. But you are right, nobody's big in the club. Do you think Klopp will stay longer? No, I don't. I think he leaves in 2026, and I think he probably takes a year out. One thing I think we'll all agree we've noticed is managers age very quickly when they come into the Premier League, because it's a very demanding league. And, you know, with being in the goldfish bowl in the media and the pressure that comes with the job, it's an all-encompassing gig, whether you're at a club like Liverpool, United, whomever. So I think he'll need that break, because it takes its toll. And Mourinho aged very quickly in the Premier League, and, you know, Guardiola's shown the signs of aging already now, and Klopp looks a fair bit older. So I think for his own well-being, and if I'm not mistaken, and again I'm open to be corrected on this, but wasn't there a concern about, did his father pass away relatively young or something? I think his health and his well-being is something that's at the forefront of his mind, obviously. And, you know, obviously he wants longevity of his family life and all. So, would you rather Xabi or De Zerbi to replace Klopp? My heart would say Xabi Alonso, obviously. But I do like De Zerbi. I get the feeling De Zerbi will end up being City's new manager if he continues to do well. Or Barcelona, perhaps. I think he's been mentioned as a Xavi replacement down the line as well. With Xabi Alonso, I think there's going to be a big test from Real Madrid at the end of this campaign when Carlo leaves. I think they've earmarked him as somebody who could come in and, fill those shoes from Carlo. Yeah, probably Alonso because he played for us. We all love him. He's a dapper son of a bitch. But either of them would be great, to be fair. De Zerbi's a good coach. Gary's Toe said, happy birthday, Craig. Thank you, dude. It was my birthday on Monday. I had a great day. Oh, I've got happy news. Thanks to you. And again, I want to make sure you know it's thanks to you and your amazing support. You have started the change of our family's life. For the first time in 19 years, we've been able to get a new car. I cried. I actually shed tears when we picked it up. We got it yesterday, and it's the first time as a married couple we've had a new car. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for believing in me, and I'm not going to let you down, as I keep saying. So yeah, thank you for that. Better be a Lambo. It's a long way from a Lambo, dude. But it's more than enough for me, so I'm over the moon. So yeah, sitting outside in the driveway right there now, and I'm feeling very proud. But I'm proud of you guys, because without your support, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are. So thank you for that one. What car? It's a Renault Arcana. It's the E-Tech fully hybrid version, but it's completely blacked out. Blacked out wheels, blacked out Renault signs, blacked out everything. It's very stealthy. It's very, very nice. But yeah, again, just wanted to share a bit of good news because, yeah, 19 years. 19 years. I'll give you a brief synopsis real quick, if I may, on why I got emotional about that car. After my father died, my mother got me thrown out of the family home with a court barring order, made me pretty much homeless. I also had a breakdown where I ended up in a mental health hospital. I lost my business. My family ended up, myself, my wife, young newly married couple, ended up in about 100 grand's worth of debt. And it took us 15 years to get through all of that and get it back. And this is the first time since that we've been able to have a new car, a credit card, or a loan, or any access to things that people take for granted. So it's been a long journey to get to that, and it's way more than just a new car in the driveway for us. It's a chance at life, and we wouldn't have that without you guys, because if the Anfield Agenda wasn't a business now, this simply wouldn't be happening. So it's been a long road from being in a locked up mental health hospital to being here now, and I'm so fucking proud of all of us. I can't say Darwin is injured, and I can't say he's not injured. What I can say is, according to Marcelo Bielsa, he's got muscle issues. Now, I guess where I was going with the title of tonight's stream and was kind of, is this going to be an ongoing problem that we have with Darwin? Because he does seem to pick up a few of them, and we need somebody who's going to be consistently available. So I hope that this isn't a pattern we're going to see with Darwin, where he starts picking up these muscle knocks. And interestingly enough, Marcelo Bielsa said that he arrived with a muscle injury. So let's wait and see. I don't think we're going to see him start at the weekend against Wolves, personally. I think Jurgen Klopp will take into account the travelling that a lot of these guys have done. Alisson, as an example, had to travel all the way over to sit on the bench for 2 games because, for some reason, the Brazilian national team interim coach thinks Ederson's a better choice in goal than Alisson, who is the best goalkeeper in the world. So, yeah, I really don't like these international breaks for a number of reasons. But we are back, we are live, and we are looking forward to the weekend. So, it is really annoying. It is. It's crazy, right? Like, how can you justify having 3 international breaks in the first 3 months of the season? It's crazy. Is Nunez injured, is the question from Owen. So look, I'm going to read out to you, Owen, exactly what Marcelo Bielsa, the Uruguay coach, has had to say. He said Darwin arrived with some muscular difficulties and that limited him in his actions. I thought it was necessary to replace him because he was overworked trying to press and attack in the last game. So this is worrying for me because, one, if he had any muscle concerns, he shouldn't have travelled. He shouldn't have even been in that international qualifiers. And the fact that he had enough concerns to drag him off in the 46th minute. I think he came off at half time in Uruguay's second qualifier is worrying, because we've seen Darwin pick up these little muscle knocks, and I hope it's not something that is going to be an ongoing problem, because the type of player that Darwin is, and I could be wrong on this and feel free to correct me if I am, I feel like he's the type of player who's going to score in bursts and going to have to play when he's confident. And if it stops start like this with some muscle knocks, it worries me, because there's nothing more frustrating than when you know you've an immensely talented dude on your hands and you just can't get him going for whatever reason. And I really do hope that this isn't something serious. So I didn't do a live stream last night, but I did record a video, and I never really got a chance to have a live interaction with you over this. But what do you guys think of the comments coming out of the Netherlands over out? And this came from Johan Dirksen, who said, "I'm getting very tired of that captain of the Netherlands. If there is a lack of performance, he uses all kinds of cliches to explain what went wrong. Can he still handle the level? No. He's on his last legs. I never thought of him as a star. He looks good, but I don't think he's a very good defender. He was only strong in the air." And that's been echoed by a couple of critics, I should say, of Virgil van Dijk. Hard to know where to go with that. Do I think Virg is finished? No. Do I think there is some truth to what he said? Yes. I do think there is some truth to what he said. I blame Jordan Pickford as well, said Rachel. I defo still get the resentment towards Pickford, 100%. It's a really tricky subject, this, to speak about, because in one sense, he's our captain. You want to get behind him and you want to back him. But in another sense, I do think there is some realm of truth to he's on the decline. You know, like even when some of our fans said that they thought Virg was back to his best after the injury, I don't know if I ever fully agreed with it. He improved, but he doesn't look the same to me. And I've said this on a couple of watch-alongs. He almost seems to be relying on the dark arts a bit more, leaning into players a bit more, stepping across players a bit more and blocking rather than defending. And I think a good example of that was the Alexander-Isak situation. Is VVD finished at the top? So far, 65% are saying no, 35% are saying yes. I would probably be, he's on the decline. Is probably, I guess, to answer that question, is he finished at the top? No. Should we be actively looking at a replacement now? Yes. For pressure, for the long term, because as I've said, I do think his form is in decline a bit. Have you seen the ANDRÉ news? Yes, indeed, Kieran, I have. I'm happy to read it back out, though, in case some of you guys may have missed it. So, Fabrizio Romano has been speaking about ANDRÉ, and he said it's not over between Liverpool and ANDRÉ. It's still something we have to keep an eye on because Liverpool really like ANDRÉ. They had a positive conversation with Fluminense. They have a good relationship. Now, let me add to this that Thiago Alcantara is apparently of interest to Trabzonspor, and their window doesn't close till Friday. And according to Axum, the Turkish club are looking to make a move for the Liverpool midfielder ahead of the deadline in the Turkish league. The report's been said Thiago knows he won't be playing very much at Liverpool this season and wants to go somewhere he'll play. Now, that's very much at odds to what most of the top level journalists were saying, particularly Fabrizio, who said that Thiago is determined to stay at Liverpool this season, make a contribution, and, you know, he's not going to be moving. So, one to keep an eye on, perhaps. Look, I'd let him go if he wanted to go. If he wanted to go and join Trabzonspor, I'd let him go and get ANDRÉ in January. I would. I just think, like, if he doesn't want to leave and he's happy to stay around, no issues. You know, this is the last year of his contract anyway. But I do, and I've said this many times to you guys on the streams, I don't see where he plays this season. I just don't see the minutes for him. You know, you've got Endo, you've got Gravenberch to try and fit in, you've got Elliott, you've got Jones, you've got McAllister, you've got Szoboszlai, and by Čečić, I just don't see the minutes for Thiago. I don't. So I I'd let him go if he wanted to go. We don't need any more midfielders. Well, I think the plan would have always been to maybe bring in one more when Thiago's contract was up. And that's why I was guessing at it, completely guessing, when I said to you guys, I think that we may revisit ANDRÉ in January and then allow Thiago to go. I didn't think Thiago might be going now, but I still think I'd say yes if he wanted to leave. Thiago's one of the highest earners of the club. Yes, he is LFC Spectre. I think he's on about 200 grand a week, if my memory's right, which is 10 million. So it's a lot of money over the course of a season, but I wouldn't be kicking him out the door, you know. I wouldn't be forcing Thiago to leave. But if it worked for him, if he was open to the move to Turkey and, you know, he said to Jurgen, and had a frank conversation about his minutes this season, I think the manager would probably be honest and say, look, your minutes may be limited, but we still feel that you can contribute a lot to the squad, obviously to the likes of Bajcetic and that as well. So, yeah, one of those, it would have to be the player, I think, who wanted it. We can't let him go, have to be selfish, we need depth. I think we have the depth though, mate. Really, I do. Let's look at our midfielders, right? Let's try and count them up. And if I forget anyone, feel free to shout it at me. So we've got Endo, Bajcetic, Jones, Elliott, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch. That's 7. Have I missed anybody in that midfield list so far? Except for Thiago, obviously. So if Thiago goes in, that's 8. 7. And maybe ANDRÉ coming in January. And the youngsters on top of them, like Bobby Clark. And yeah, Gakpo can play in mid as well, Daniel. Yes, absolutely. So I don't think we are short of the depth. I think if you look at holding midfielders, you've got Bajcetic, you've got Endo, can both play that role. Gravenberch can play the role in a different number 6 kind of way. McAllister can play it. So yeah, I do feel like if Thiago wanted to go, let him go. I don't want him to go. I love Thiago. You know that. I'm a Thiago sexual. Craig, should Gakpo start giving his form from international break and Darwin's injury concerns? Yes. I think yes. Yes, Finn. So I think because of the travelling more than anything else, and the fact that Darwin would only be getting in, well, he played Wednesday into Thursday, he's probably getting back Thursday, and then you've got to take into account the time difference, and you've got to take into account the jet lag, because there's not much time in the turnaround between when the lads will get back from the South American qualifiers and get their body clocks reset. So I think, yes, we'll see Cody Gakpo play through the middle against Wolves. And also, can I just say once again to BT, can you please stop being assholes? Because Liverpool once again have to come back off the international break to play Wolves at 12:30. And guess what? After the October international break, Liverpool have to come back and play at 12:30 against Everton in the Merseyside derby. Why do we always get these crappy 12:30 kickoff times after the international break? It's really annoying because we're at a disadvantage, because once again our players have less recovery time than others. And it's okay if you get one, but we've got them back to back now. 2 international breaks. It's not right. I don't like it. And that's before we even get into the conversation about who's on VAR for the weekend, because, you know, colour me shocked, it's Paul Tierney who's on VAR. Yes, the same Paul Tierney who refused to overturn McAllister's blatantly not a red card, and the same Paul Tierney that has shafted us many times. So going into the game against Wolves at the weekend, I'm already expecting us to have to get over one dodgy call that I assume is coming our way. I don't know what to make of this, right? So the story comes from Fixture, so, you know, we know they've an embassy on our little island. They say Liverpool are reportedly eyeing a move for Sporting defender Gonzalo Inacio, according to Fixture. The 22-year-old signed an extension in the summer with the Portuguese side after speculation for a move to Anfield. So if indeed we are still interested in Inacio, and I don't know if we are or aren't, but if we are, why are we so stupid? Because we could have had him for €45 million without an argument, without a debate with Sporting Lisbon. That was his price. He stalled and didn't sign a new contract. Then at the end of the window, he signed a new deal, and his new buyout clause is €60 million. So if we're interested in him, why on earth did we do that? Why on earth? Like, if we thought he wasn't ready, buy him now, keep him on loan at Sporting for the season, then bring him back in. I don't understand this. So if this report is true, and if Liverpool are still interested in Inacio, it's the height of stupidity, as far as I'm concerned, because it'll be once again a situation where we could have had somebody for cheaper and end up having to pay more for them a year down the line. Just doesn't make sense to me. Actually, on Trent, Gary Lineker's been speaking, and he reckons that Trent should 100% be moved to midfield to get the best out of his attributes. I think, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think Mr. Lineker said something like, when he plays at right back, you're cutting off some of his attributes because he can only pass, to the left-hand side of the pitch, where if he's in the centre, he's got the ability to impact games in a more positive sense. But the problem with that is, for us to put Trent in a central midfield position, in my opinion, we need to change our formation, because he's not a natural number 6, and I don't think Klopp would want him as far forward as the 2 10s we have in our system, as in, let's say, Szoboszlai and McAllister, or Szoboszlai and Jones. I don't see Trent as one of those type of players, because the role of those guys, a lot of pressing is involved, and I don't think of Trent pressing very well when I think of Trent. So I just think we'd have to change system to accommodate Trent in midfield. Maybe you guys think differently, I don't know. How good was Bellingham in midweek? He's pretty good, Paul. Pretty good, dude. I felt two feelings when I've seen Bellingham start to this season, because he's been pretty electric over Real Madrid as well, in a very advanced position. So part of me was like, God damn you FSG, I hate you so much. I knew how good he was, even when some people were like, he's overrated, blah, blah, blah. I knew how good Bellingham was. Then when I seen what he did again for England, and you hear the whole of Europe again talking about this wonder kid Bellingham and how great he already is, and I can't help but think what might have been. But then again, look, the midfield we have built and the way that we've spent the money has been very clever, but God, he's a fine footballer, isn't he? He's just got to get better and better. I think Dom can easily be better than Bellingham, said Colin. Better than Bellingham? I do get where you're coming from. Like, to think Szoboszlai is still only 22. Now, I know Bellingham's either 19 or 20, but he does have every attribute to his game. Much like Bellingham, doesn't shirk the physical stuff. Pretty good off both feet. Very technically good. The money that we spent getting him and McAllister, if you said to me right now, Craig, you could have McAllister and Szoboszlai or Bellingham, I'd probably stick with the boys we have. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't have liked to have seen Bellingham in this Liverpool team. At least we don't have Harry Maguire. Yeah, on that, did you guys see what, I'm sure you did see what Southgate was saying about Maguire and the critique that Maguire is getting? I think Southgate's lost the plot. Fair enough, he's entitled to his view about what Harry Maguire does with England. But for Manchester United, he has been a liability, and that can't be debated. And I don't understand why Maguire didn't leave Manchester United in the summer. If it's because he wanted a £10 million payoff, I guess that's his own business, but it's not a great look. I think a move to West Ham would have been good for Maguire, but I also do find it funny that he's still at United. But I thought Southgate's defence of him was over the top. I don't think he's really looking at the reality of that situation as much as I get he's trying to protect his player and all that, but he is gash, let's be honest. Like, is he that good for England? No, look, fully admit, I don't watch all of England's games. I'm not really interested in international football at the best of times, let alone the fact I'm Irish. So, don't really pay too much attention to the English national team. But he did score an own goal though, right? In the last game against Scotland. And he's also shit. But I guess Southgate has his favourites that he depends upon. Try to extend Salah's contract equals Euro Saudi clubs. So right, we're in a tricky situation at the end of this season with Mo. 1 year to go in his Liverpool deal. And then we've got the dilemma, like you've said, Sammy. So do you give him a new deal or do you sell him? I can't see a world that FSG give him a new deal. Because think of it this way. Whatever new deal FSG are going to offer him will be counterbalanced by the $1.5 million a week that he's probably going to be given tax-free in Saudi. So I don't see that being an option. And I think it's going to be, you either keep him till the end of his deal and get nothing for him, or you sell him and get as much as you can. And in that situation, you sell him, because you can't allow Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah to have all left Liverpool for a combined 30 million euro. It's not right. So I think we have to sell at the end of this season. Now look, if Liverpool were to extend him, brilliant. We'd all be delighted with that. I just don't see John W. Henry pulling the trigger on that extension. Will Salah stay in January? I think he will, Dara, because there was a reason they were pushing to try and get him in the summer market, and that was because Al Ittihad are going to be in the Club World Cup, which takes place in Saudi in December. So that's why they wanted him in now, and they were willing to pay a premium for that. So I think you can never say never, but I feel like they will be told no till the summer.